Imagine standing in the darkness of the Arabian desert. The year is 620 CE. You're invisible, immortal, made of smokeless fire. You've lived for thousands of years, maybe longer. You've seen empires rise and crumble. You've witnessed prophets come and go. And tonight, you're hiding behind a rock, listening to a man recite words you've never heard before. Words that pierce through you like lightning. Words that make you tremble. You are a jinn. And what you're about to hear will change everything. This is not a fairy tale. This is recorded in the Quran itself. Chapter 72. An entire chapter named after them, Surah Al-Jinn, the chapter of the jinn. But here's the question nobody asks. What happened to these jinn after that night? Where did they go? What did they do? Why does their story matter? Before we go further, let's be clear about what we're dealing with. In Islamic theology, jinn are real beings, not metaphors, not symbols. Real entities made from fire, just as humans are made from clay and angels from light. They live in a parallel dimension. They eat, drink, marry, have children. They have free will. They can choose good or evil. Most cultures have their own version: demons, spirits, jinn, genies. But in Islamic tradition, they're not just folklore. They're part of creation itself. The Prophet Muhammad didn't just preach to humans. According to Islamic sources, he was sent as a messenger to both mankind and jinn kind. Think about that. Two intelligent species, two audiences, one message. But the jinn didn't come to him. Not at first. He came to them by accident. The year is approximately 619 or 620 CE. Muhammad has been preaching in Mecca for about 10 years. He's facing rejection, mockery, violence. His own tribe, the Quraysh, wants him dead. His uncle, who protected him, just died. His wife Khadijah, his greatest supporter, just died. He's alone, desperate, heartbroken. So he travels to a nearby city called Taif with his companion, Zayd. Maybe they'll listen. Maybe they'll accept the message. Maybe he'll find allies. They don't. The people of Taif chase him out. They set their children on him. They throw stones. They mock him until he's bleeding and broken. He leaves Taif and stops in a place called Nakhlah, a valley between Mecca and Taif. It's nighttime. He's injured, exhausted, and he begins to pray. He recites the Quran out loud in the darkness. And that's when they arrive. According to the hadith collected by Imam Bukhari and Muslim, a group of jinn were passing by. Some accounts say 3, others say 7, some say more. They heard something they'd never heard before. The Quran describes it in their own words. Say, O Muhammad, it has been revealed to me that a group of the jinn listened and said, indeed, we have heard an amazing Quran. It guides to the right course, and we have believed in it, and we will never associate with our Lord anyone. Think about this moment. These are beings who have existed for potentially thousands of years. They've seen human civilizations come and go. They've heard every language, every song, every prayer. And yet, this is different. This is something that shakes them to their core. The word they use in Arabic is ajaban, not just amazing. The word means something so extraordinary, so shocking that it leaves you speechless, bewildered, transformed. But what exactly did they hear that night? Islamic scholars have debated this for centuries. Some say it was Surah Ar-Rahman, the chapter of the Merciful, with its repeated verse, "So which of the favors of your Lord would you deny?" Repeated 31 times, like a drumbeat, a challenge, a warning. Others say it was different passages. But the content isn't what matters most. It's what the Quran revealed to them about themselves. The jinn speak in Surah Al-Jinn, and what they say is chilling. And we have sought to reach the heaven, but found it filled with powerful guards and burning flames. And we used to sit in places to hear, but whoever listens now will find a burning flame lying in wait for him. Something had changed in the cosmic order. Before Muhammad's prophethood, the jinn could eavesdrop on the lower heavens. They could listen to angels discussing divine decrees. Then they'd come down to earth and whisper these secrets to fortune-tellers, sorcerers, and soothsayers. That's how fortune-telling worked in the ancient world. A jinn would steal fragments of heavenly conversation, mix it with 99 lies, and feed it to a human oracle. But when Muhammad became a prophet, heaven was sealed. Meteors began shooting across the sky. Guards were posted. The jinn were cut off. They didn't know why, not until they heard the Quran. One of them says, "And we thought that mankind and the jinn would never speak about Allah a lie. They'd been deceived. For generations. They thought what they were doing was harmless. They thought the humans who worshipped them or obeyed them were just confused. But the Quran told them the truth. You've been helping mankind into hellfire, and you'll burn with them." Here's where it gets even more interesting. The jinn who listened that night didn't all respond the same way. The Quran records their conversation. They're arguing among themselves. "And among us are Muslims, and among us are the unjust. And whoever has become Muslim, those have sought out the right course. But as for the unjust, they will be firewood for hell." There's a split. Right there. Some believe immediately. Others refuse. Some see Muhammad as a prophet. Others see him as a threat. Sound familiar? It's exactly what happened with humans in Mecca. The believing jinn return to their people. They become preachers themselves. Imagine that. Jinn converts going back to jinn society, trying to convince their own families, their own tribes. According to Hadith, they came back to the Prophet multiple times. One narration says they came to him at night while he was praying in the desert. His companion Abdullah ibn Mas'ud saw him draw a line in the sand and tell his companions, "Don't cross this line." Then he went to meet them, alone, in the darkness. When he returned, Ibn Mas'ud asked him, "What happened?" Muhammad said, "They asked me for food." Food. These beings made of fire, living in another dimension, asked for food. The Prophet said, "You will have every bone over which the name of Allah has been mentioned. When it falls into your hand, it will have meat on it, and every piece of dung is food for your animals." This is why, in Islamic tradition, Muslims are told not to use bones or animal dung for cleaning themselves. It's the food of the jinn. It's a treaty. A covenant between two worlds. But here's the part that should terrify you. Not all jinn accepted. Not all believed. And those who rejected became enemies. The Quran mentions shayateen, rebellious jinn who follow Iblis, the first disobedient jinn, known to many as Satan. These entities made it their mission to fight the message, and they could do things humans couldn't. They could whisper, possess, deceive, spread lies faster than any human rumor. They could appear in dreams, make people paranoid, drive them mad. According to Islamic tradition, when the Prophet would recite Quran publicly, the shayateen would create noise. Loud sounds, distractions, anything to drown out the words. Because they knew, if humans really listened, they would believe. And here's the terrifying implication. If jinn, beings far older, far more knowledgeable, far more powerful than us, could be shaken by the Quran to the point of conversion or rage, what does that say about the text itself? So where are they now, those jinn who believed? Islamic tradition says they spread the message among their own kind. Some became scholars. Some became worshippers. Some fought on the side of the believers in spiritual battles humans couldn't see. There are reports, though not in the most authentic sources, that some jinn joined the early Muslim armies, not physically, but in ways that terrified the enemy. Sudden winds, strange sounds, hallucinations on the battlefield. But mostly, they disappeared from the story. Why? Because their role was never to be heroes. Their role was to be witnesses. They represent something profound, the universality of the message. This wasn't just for Arabs, not just for humans. It was for all beings with free will. And the fact that they responded first, before most of Mecca, before most of Arabia, is a detail that should not be overlooked. Here's what keeps me awake at night. These jinn had seen everything. They'd been alive for centuries, maybe millennia. They'd witnessed every empire, every religion, every prophet before Muhammad. And yet, this was the first time they believed. Not because they were forced, not because they were tricked, but because they heard something undeniable. Something so true that beings made of fire, beings who could lie, cheat, manipulate reality itself, couldn't deny it. If creatures from another dimension, with no loyalty to humanity, with no cultural bias, with no reason to care, heard the Quran and said, "We believe," what does that mean? What does it say about truth? And what does it say about us, humans who hear it and walk away? The jinn who listened to the Quran didn't get a happy ending written in history books. They didn't get statues or monuments. They returned to their world. They delivered the message. They made their choice. And now, the question isn't what happened to them. It's what happens to us.